Bismillah wa salatu wassalam ala Rasulullah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. What's going on, brothers? I hope you're doing well, and I hope and pray this episode meets you in a good state of iman, in wellness and goodness as well. Welcome to yet another edition of Pure Masculinity Podcast, and I am your host, Abdul Kabir. So in today's episode, inshallah, we want to talk about how men can build positive relationship with others, right? So I'll go straight into the conversation without wasting much time, inshallah. Building positive relationship is essential for us as men for our personal growth, well-being, and a sense of community building, right? No one is an island of his own. We all need people to thrive. And as men, we are leaders even without filling positions, right? So this is one of the reasons why it is very important for us to build positive relationship with other people in our lives. And inshallah, I'll give you examples from the life of the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the best of mankind, right? So let's get into the conversation. Here are a few tips on how you can build and nurture positive relationship with others as well. Number one, the first point which I would like to share with us is effective communication. Effective communication helps you to build and foster positive relationship. We need to understand that communication is a two-way thing, right? There is the aspect of speaking and there is the aspect of hearing. Many of us can speak, but do we really listen? Can we really relate? Can people really understand us when we are communicating as well? But inshallah, I just want to focus more on the listening aspect, because many of us can speak, many of us can talk, but do we really listen to understand? So that's why the key point here in effective communication that I'm trying to talk about is the aspect of listening. Many men lack effective listening skill. We need to listen actively and attentively to others when they are speaking, especially with passion and empathy. SubhanAllah, there's a book I would recommend for every man to read when it comes to listening, and that's this book. It's called the hearing when hearing becomes listening. It was written by Sheikh Mikhail Ahmed Smith. It's a very good book. Although I haven't completed reading it yet, but I have read one of his books, which was on emotional intelligence of the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. A very good book that taught so much about emotional intelligence. So I believe based on that, this book would also be a good read, inshallah. I highly recommend it for everybody to check this book. If you can buy it, it's on Amazon, inshallah. And hopefully maybe someday I'll reach out to Sheikh Mikhail to bring him on the podcast as a guest to talk more about some of these things. So the Prophet ﷺ was someone who was an effective listener, and I'll give you a very good story, a beautiful story, the story of Abu Umair. Abu Umair is the younger brother of Anas ibn Malik radiallahu anhu. So it happened one time, the Prophet ﷺ came to the house of Anas ibn Malik radiallahu anhu, and he saw Abu Umair, a little young boy. He was sad, he was in a sober mood, and he asked Anas, what is wrong with Abu Umair? Then Anas told him he lost his bird, because Abu Umair had a pet bird which he used to play with. So when the Prophet ﷺ saw him, he went to meet the little boy Abu Umair, and then he spoke to him. He said, Ya Aba Umair, ma fa'ala nughair. Oh Abu Umair, what has happened to the birdie? And then the little boy started telling the Prophet ﷺ how he loved the bird, how the bird died, and all of that. So listening attentively and seeking to understand before being understood, it's a highly effective trait in building positive relationship. So if you can articulate your thoughts, you'll be able to build good relationship with people. This is very important. That's the first point. Another thing which we need to work on as well to improve our relationship better with people is how we show empathy. Showing empathy. I think I mentioned a few things about empathy when we were talking about emotional intelligence in one of the episodes. But today, I want to just mention a few things more as a way of building good positive relationship with others. Showing empathy is you putting yourself in others' shoes and understanding their perspective, how they feel. When you are in that shoes, if it hurts you, it means it hurts them as well. So empathy is different from sympathy. Sympathy is just feeling pity for them, but empathy is feeling how they feel and finding a way in which you can help them resolve that situation. So you have to be sensitive with others, their emotions, their experience. If they tell you they feel bad, understand they truly feel bad. So these are things which we need to show more in order to be able to connect with people, offer support and encouragement to them when needed. The Prophet ﷺ told us in a beautiful hadith, whenever he sends people on a mission, an Islamic mission, what does he say to them? He says, Yassiru wala tu'asiru, bashiru wala tunaffiru. He says to them, make things easy and don't make things difficult for them. Give glad tidings and don't condemn. Subhanallah. This is very, very important. And he exemplified this in a beautiful way in his life. Many of us know the story of that man who came into the masjid and started peeing. He was a Bedouin Arab. He was not from the companions that spent daily times with the Prophet ﷺ. So imagine, the Prophet ﷺ was in the mosque. He was giving a dars, a lesson to the people, and they were listening. And one man just ran from nowhere, came into the mosque and he started to pee. So what happened? Some of the companions got up, they wanted to beat him up. Are you out of your mind? What's going on? Why are you peeing in the mosque? Then the Prophet ﷺ said, leave him, let him finish. He allowed him to relieve himself, finished peeing, and then the Prophet ﷺ called him. He said, come closer. And then he told him, this is a masjid. It is a house of Allah. We indulge in the remembrance of Allah and the recitation of the Quran. And then he told people that they should pour water over the place which he has peed. Look at how he simply solved that problem without harming the man. And when he finished speaking to the man, what did the man say? SubhanAllah. The man said, may Allah bless me and you alone. He said, he prayed for the Prophet and said, may Allah bless me and bless you as well. He didn't care about others as well, because he felt that these were people that wanted to kill me when I was relieving myself. SubhanAllah. So from that, they built a relationship. From that, he will love the Prophet ﷺ more. Nobody would not love you when you are good to them, except those people have a problem mentally. So this is very important. For you to build a positive relationship, show empathy. Another point, the third point, inshallah, which I would like to share with us, is for us to be reliable and trustworthy people. You as a man, you should be someone who is reliable and trustworthy. Somebody who is able to keep to his words. He is committed. He is dependable. When they give you a trust, you can fulfill that trust. One of the qualities of a munafiq, one of the traits of a hypocrite, is whenever he is entrusted, he betrays. Subhanallah. So you are not a good person if you are somebody who betrays his trust, who tell lies, and all these things, who is not honest. So you have to build trust by being honest and transparent in everything you do. If you are asked to carry out a task, do it to the best of your ability, even when it's not perfect, right? Demonstrate integrity in your actions. Be a man of your words. Don't just talk. Talk is cheap. Do the work, right? So that is it. And that reminds me of the story of Abu Bakr al-Ghifari radiallahu anhu. Abu Bakr was one of the famous companions, the one whom Sheikh Khutayba was mentioning to us last week in the podcast, that he said is one of his favorite companions. One time during the reign of Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu anhu, as the Khalifa, a man came, two men came dragging a young boy to Umar and telling them that he should pass the had on this young man because he killed their father. And Umar asked the boy, why did you kill their father? The boy said, their father, that he has a cattle which was grazing, and they went into the pastures of their father, and their father took a stone and stoned the cattle, and he died. So he also took a stone and stoned their father as well, and their father died as well. So Umar told him, you have committed manslaughter, and there is nothing we will do. The law in Islam is he who kills will be killed. So therefore he said he's gonna pass the had on him. So the young boy requested that Umar should please give him some time, that he has sisters, he needs to go and hand over the wealth which his dad passed over to them, so as they will not lose it. So let him go and take care of his family affairs, and then he will come back for the had to be passed on him. Umar said, no, because we don't know you and we can't just let you go like that. So the young man then said, okay, I will find somebody to stand for me, and he pointed at Abu Bakr al-Ghifari. Abu Bakr should stand for him, and Abu Bakr accepted to stand for him. Umar told him, he said, oh Abu Bakr, you don't know this man from nowhere. If he doesn't come, the punishment falls upon you. Abu Bakr agreed to stay for the man. So after 3 days, the man took he said he needs 3 days. After 3 days, on the third day before sunset, people were worried. They didn't see this young boy, and everybody was like, subhanallah, Abu Bakr, what did you get yourself into today? And before sunset, they saw the young man coming, And when he came back, Umar was surprised. And then the two men who lost their father were there. Abu Bakr was there and the young man was there. And Umar asked him, he said, "Oh young man, you had the chance to run away. Why did you come back?" And subhanAllah, this is where the lessons are. The young man said, "I am afraid that humanity will not fulfill their promises again. That they will lose the trust." Subhanallah. Look at that beautiful word. And then Umar turns to Abu Bakr and asked him, "Why did you stand for this young man that you did not know in the first place?" And he said, "I'm afraid that humanity would have lost the ability to do good deeds." Subhanallah. And because of that, the two young men then said, "We forgive this man, let him go. We will not take the punishment on him again." And Umar turned to them and asked them, "Why did you forgive this man? You brought him, you said he should be killed because he killed your father." And then they said, "We are afraid that it will appear that humanity has lost the ability to show forgiveness and mercy." Subhanallah. Look at how that trait of Abu Bakr, being a trustworthy person who stood, and that young man also not betraying the trust that was given to him as an opportunity. So brothers, you have to be trustworthy. You have to keep the trust. Don't be among those people who fail, who lie, who speak more than what they are supposed to do. Subhanallah, it is sad today that brothers who are Muslims are duping Muslims themselves. I have been a victim of it as well. Somebody comes to me and I trust him, he's a Muslim brother, and what happens at the end of the day, you don't see them. Even one of our famous shuyukh mentioned how he invested in a fish farm and somebody took the fish away. The one who was entrusted with fish, he said, "Oh, they were dwarf fishes." Subhanallah. This is not good enough. Another point which is important for us to bear in mind as well in building positive relationship is by respecting boundaries. It's very important for us to respect boundaries, right? Respect boundaries, respect people's personal boundaries, and seek their consent before you do things to them or on their behalf. This is very important. Many of us don't pay attention to this. We have to be mindful of people's comfort level, right? You need to understand that each of us have individual preferences and differences. What I like, another brother might not like it. What is accommodatable to another person might not be to me. So before you just assume and come into conclusion that he doesn't like me or he doesn't want to help me, understand their circumstances, right? Understand their boundaries. And this is very important. Subhanallah. It reminds me of a story. I do have a friend who oftentimes get emotional at work. Sometimes he gets emotional and he doesn't want to talk. You just see him when you see him in the morning, maybe he just says salam and then he has a straight face and he's not talking like a regular way in which we interact. So when he gets into this mode, I respect it and I let him be. And what happens after he's done? He comes back and he speaks. Sometimes he would even tell me what is going on in his mind. Sometimes he wouldn't talk about it. And I just see that it's back to normal and we can go back with the flow. So this has nothing to do with the love and respect and honor that I have for him. I still love this brother till today, till tomorrow. But I have gotten to understand that he's his own kind of person. And that is his boundary. And I keep it there. So it also reminds me of the story of Umar radiallahu anhu with one old man. You know, Umar radiallahu anhu, while he was a Khalifa, Umar will always go around at night. Subhanallah. Umar will go around at night. And Umar did a lot, subhanallah, to the point that even Umar was comparing himself to Abu Bakr and he said Abu Bakr has tired his successors, subhanallah. Because Abu Bakr would also sometimes go and help an old woman to clean her house, to cook and all of that. So Umar saw that standard as a torchbearer and he kept on with it even after Abu Bakr passed away. So one night Umar was going on the rounds and he came across a house whereby there was an old man whom a lady was singing to and he was enjoying, just like being entertained, right? And when Umar got inside, Umar saw the man and said, "This old man, why don't you fear Allah? Why are you doing this at this age?" And the man said, "Umar, you have intruded my privacy. I didn't give you permission to come in." And Umar admitted. He said, "You are right." And Umar left. And after a long time, Umar did not see this man. But one day, Umar was in the masjid giving a sermon, and then a man came, that old man came in, and he recognized him. So Umar gestured to him to come closer. And then the man came closer to him, and he whispered in his ears. He said, "By Allah, I never told anybody what I saw that night." And subhanallah, look at what the man also said. He said, "By Allah, I never returned to committing that sin again after that day." Allahu Akbar. So look at the importance of boundaries. This is very important. Another point which I would like to add to things which we need to do in building positive relationship with others as well is positive affirmations and celebrations. Yeah, we need to offer compliments to each other. We need to give positive feedbacks. When people do things, tell them where they did it right, how they can improve, what went wrong, and things like that. Tell yourself, tell your brothers, brother, oh boy, you look good. I love your beards. That was a nice trim. Oh, what perfume do you have on? Compliment yourself. SubhanAllah, I'm sorry. The sisters do this a lot. They compliment themselves, they appreciate themselves, and there is nothing wrong in this. So brothers, you need to compliment yourself. You need to give yourself positive feedbacks. You need to separate each other's achievement and successes. When somebody is successful at something, say to him, Allahumma barik. And the Prophet ﷺ used to even say this to his companions as well when they attained good feats, right? Build a culture of positivity and encouragement. Don't hate on people. Don't feel envious or bad about their success. Don't be jealous of them. Don't say, why him and why not me? We put the same efforts. Why was he successful? Why was he chosen and I was not chosen? No. The Prophet ﷺ used to make dua for his companions and he used to celebrate them. Let me give you an instance. One day he saw Abu Abdurrahman ibn Auf radiallahu anhu, and he saw he had a stain from a perfume on his clothes, and that perfume, the stain is usually for people who are married. So he inquired about him. What is this? What's going on, Abdurrahman? Abdurrahman told him, O Messenger of Allah, I got married yesterday. And the Prophet ﷺ was happy for him, and he said, slaughter a sheep and call people to come and eat as a walima. So that is happiness. The Prophet ﷺ, he celebrates people, he appreciates them, he rejoices with them. So you too, when your brother calls you to an event, a Thanksgiving or a celebration, go, so long as they will not transgress the limits set by Islam. Appreciate them, share gifts with them, make dua for them. This is very important. It helps to build positive relationships. Another thing which I would like to share as well is to get involved in shared activities of like minds, activities of interest. Engage in activities that you enjoy with each other. There are so many things which you could do. You could have a gym partner, go to the gym with a brother. You could have somebody who holds you accountable, your accountability partner, that reminds you it's time for Fajr. Bro, let's go to the masjid, right? Engage in things that are beneficial. Play soccer together. Anything that is of interest to you, that is beneficial, that is not affecting your spirituality or your mental health, do it. So find common interest and hobbies, right? Foster shared objectives. Go to events, men events, host halaqat. Sit down and talk. This is very important. Do shared activities like sports, play team games. There's nothing wrong in even involving in martial arts. Learn how to fight, kickboxing, taekwondo, and things like that. These are things which a man should know how to do. A man should know how to fight. A man should know how to throw a punch. If you live in a country where gun is legalized, a man should learn how to shoot. You should have a gun to protect yourself and your family. There is nothing wrong with that. But get it legally, in the permissible way. Make sure you get all the documents that you need for that. So involve in shared activities of interest that men like to do. In addition as well, another thing which is important for us as men who are striving to build positive relationship, we need to also have conflict resolution skill. Learn how to solve problems. Learn how to find a solution to a problem. When two people are having issues, see how you can come in to make peace and don't add fuel to the fire. The Prophet ﷺ told us in an instance, he even said that it is not considered a lie when you try to make peace with two people that are conflicting. For example, now you go to Brother Abdullah and you tell him, oh, Brother Abdullah, Brother Muhammad said he was apologetic about what happened. He didn't really mean it like that. And Brother Muhammad didn't really send you. And then you go back to Brother Muhammad too and you say, oh, you have spoken to Brother Abdullah, and Brother Abdullah is willing to make peace. And when they come together, then you relate the situation to them. Oh, brothers, we are brothers. إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ إِخْوَةٌ فَأَصْلِحُوا بَيْنَ أَخْوَيْكُمْ. Allah tells us in the Quran that the believers are nothing else but brothers. So make reconciliation amidst your brother. Remind them there is no joy in holding grudges. There is no peace in not talking to each other or not relating with each other. So as men, we should be able to talk to resolve our issues. Know how to address conflicts calmly and in a constructive way without taking sides. You don't have to say, oh, because this is my tribesman and they're fighting him, so I have to stand behind him. Even when you know he's not on the haq, Subhanallah. I have seen families sometimes whereby the wife is mad at the husband because the husband is not supporting her in her fighting with one of their neighbors. He said, "You're not right," and she got mad at that. As a man, you should stand with the truth, even if it's your loved one. Subhanallah. So focus on finding solutions rather than placing blame. Be fair and firm in upholding justice, even if it's against your loved one. In fact, the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was telling us one of those verses. Allah says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu kunu qawwamina lillahi shuhada'a bil qist. Subhanallah. Allah is telling us in that verse that, oh, you will believe, you should be witnesses and firm to justice. You hold justice, you be firm upon the truth. You don't take sides in falsehood. So this is very important. And we saw a beautiful example even from the life of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I'll share with you this story. Many of us might have heard about it before. One day the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was in the house of Aisha radiallahu anha, and some of the companions were with him. And then one of his wives, Zainab bint Khuzaymah radiallahu anha, sent a dish to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And while the one who served the food, who was bringing it to Prophet ﷺ, came in, Aisha radiallahu anha struck her hands and the dish got broken and the food fell off. But the Prophet ﷺ did not yell at Aisha and tell her, "Oh Aisha, you are too jealous. Oh Aisha, why are you out of your mind?" No, he smiled and he started picking the food. And he, in front of the companions, he did not embarrass her. He said, "Your mother has been overpowered." Subhanallah. Telling them that she is still your mother, the mother of the believers, but she's just having an attitude. And he did not yell at her or insult her in front of them. He still protected her. That this is what women do. And he resolved that conflict in a beautiful way by telling her, he told the companions there, "Let's eat." They took the dirt of the food and they ate it. And then he told Aisha to replace the dish of Zainab that she broke. That is justice there. That is firmness. That is a wise way to resolve conflict. He didn't say because Aisha is his favorite wife, no, she's not, she's okay, what she did is fine. So this, we also need to have conflict resolution skills as Muslim men. Another point which I would like to add to this as well is to be able to cultivate genuine connections. Your ability to be able to cultivate genuine connections will help you in a long way to build positive relationships. Subhanallah. We need to prioritize quality over quantity in relationships. Many of us, we don't see the beauty in people. We just look at people from an angle of what can I benefit from them? What do we want to get from this relationship? And this is wrong. Relationships shouldn't be a tit for tat thing, right? Imagine how many of us really say hi to the janitor in our workplace. How many of us really appreciate them for the efforts which they do? When was the last time you told your wife, "Oh sweetheart, I appreciate all that you do for myself and the kids in keeping the house tidy, in making us warm food and all of that"? How many of us do that? This is very important. These things will help you build love. It will help you to create genuine and deliberate connections. So you need to cultivate deeper connections and make people feel important, feel special by regularly checking up on them. Subhanallah. That reminds me, recently, one of my feeble Buddhists, he called me from Germany. And he told me that he was just checking on me, and I really appreciated it. He said he was on leave, so he wanted to just reach out to check on me and all of that. And I told him, I said, by Allah, I was also intending to check on you, but you were just faster than I did. Subhanallah, that's genuine connection. I haven't seen this brother in more than 5 years. I haven't seen him in a long time. But because of that genuinity of the love which we shared, subhanallah, the brother will still call to check up on me. I will check up on him once in a while too as well. So we need that kind of relationship. The question is, when was the last time you checked on even your parents, your siblings, your loved one, right? When was the last time you sent a text message to them and you say, "Oh, I just remembered you and I made a dua to Allah that Allah should grant you your good desires, take away from you your fears," just to check on them. This is very important. Today, many of us don't do this. And it will go a long way in building that genuine connection. It will help to bridge the gap. So make that effort to text that person whom you have not been talking to in years. Even if they don't talk to you, even if they don't reply, you have played your part. Amend that issue which is going on. Invest your time and your effort into meaningful relationships. Subhanallah, because when you do this, genuine relationships don't know bounds. Anybody you connect with genuinely that truly love you, they will go a long way to help you. Trust me, subhanallah, I have very beautiful experience when it comes to genuine relationship. I used to remember while I was back in high school, I had a mentor who loved me genuinely, that even in Ramadan, I was in a boarding school, he will cook food. He will ask his wife to cook food and bring for me the food they eat at iftar. He shares that same food with me, subhanallah, and I can never forget that man till today, till tomorrow. If I go to Nigeria, I still want to go and visit him whenever I go to Kaduna. Subhanallah, that's genuine connection. I can tell you today, alhamdulillah, I have friends that if I call them today, bro, I need $10,000. Subhanallah, maybe they will just ask me, do you want it in cash or bank transfer? That's genuine connection. It is, to be honest with you, no one will give you such a huge amount of money if they don't trust you, or if you haven't invested time in building such a relationship with them in order to earn their trust. So you need to build genuine connections. This is very important. Look at how the Prophet ﷺ addresses the companions. He talks to them in a way that so many of them feel like they are the most beloved to him. Whenever he talks to them, maybe he says, Ya Ghulam, oh young man, Ya Ma'ashar al-Shabab, oh companions of young people, when he says, Ya Mu'adh, oh Mu'adh, fawallahi inni uhibbuk, oh Mu'adh, I swear by Allah, I love you. That creates connection to listen attentively to the next thing which he's about to say. So we need to honor ourselves. We need to talk to people in a respectful way. Call people by good names and don't call them by awful nicknames or names they do not like to be addressed by. Subhanallah, this is very important. Another point which I'd like to share as well, I'd like to wrap up as soon as possible, inshallah, maybe one or two more things to say, is celebrate diversity. Understand the beauty in diversity. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us diverse for a reason. He says, Ya ayyuhan nas inna khalaqnakum min dhakarin wa unsa wa ja'alnakum shuhuban wa qabaila lita'arafu. Inna akramakum indallahi atqakum innallaha alimul khabir. Allah was telling us in that verse, says, O mankind, we have created you from a pair of male and female, and we made you into tribes and nations in order to understand yourself. And verily the best amongst you is the one who is conscious of Allah. So the point for which we are made, black, white, yellow, brown, whatever we are, is just for understanding. So the black man is not better than the white man, nor should we look down at the Desi man. So this is common in some societies. We don't embrace diversity in our social circle. So be open to learning from people of various backgrounds and perspective. You don't know it all. Your culture is not the best. Don't see because you went to one masjid, you see them doing something one way, and then so it's bitter because this is not the way in which you do it. They might have evidences for doing what they are doing, and it might be acceptable in Islam. So respect and appreciate cultural and individual differences in people, right? Eat other people's foods as well, and don't complain it stinks, it's too spicy, it's this and that. Subhanallah, that's actually offensive to the one who provided the food. They invested their time in cooking it. Subhanallah. So, and Allah's Apostle sallallahu alaihi wasallam showed this beauty of diversity by even celebrating his companions. He married a wife who was black. Sauda was black. He also had a companion, one of his favorite companions, Bilal. Bilal was the one who pronounces the adhan. Subhanallah. And he celebrated him to a way in which that he made the people even know the speciality of Bilal. He said, oh Bilal, what good deed do you do that makes me hear your footstep ahead of me in paradise? Subhanallah. And that was when Bilal told us that he doesn't do anything special. He thinks maybe just when he makes wudu, he makes sure that every time he makes wudu, he prays 2 rakah. Subhanallah. So this is the beauty of our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Finally, owing to time, inshallah, I'll wrap up with this last point, which is for us to be supportive and help each other on our personal growth together. We need to support ourselves to grow. We need to offer both emotional and financial support during challenging times. If you find a brother in need, support him. Provide a helping hand when needed. Encourage each other on your personal development. This is very important. Want good for your brother as you want for yourself. In an hadith, Allah's Apostle told us, he says, La yu'minu ahadukum hatta yuhibbul akhi ma yuhibbu li nafsi. That none of you will believe until you love for your brother that which you love for yourself. And that is the universal law of brotherhood. Subhanallah. It reminds me, I have a friend as well, one very beautiful friend. May Allah preserve him for good and us as well. The first job I got after graduation was this brother who recommended me to apply for it. And it was not only me, he did it to so many other countless amount of people as well, that I know that he got into that organization barely through the recommendation of this good brother. May Allah preserve him for good. And today, alhamdulillah, that job has helped me to get to where I am today, right? And that brother has never stopped helping people. He's so selfless. So now tell me, if such a brother needs help tomorrow, will I not rush to go and fulfill his need so long as I am able to? So be open to learning and evolving together. If you see an opportunity, share it with your brother. Don't be that kind of brother that conceals things and you don't want any other person to know. It's just me, myself, and I. That's not the best. So see that you want to learn more. Have that thirst for learning. Learning is from cradle to the grave. As a man, you should be somebody who reads. When was the last time you read a book? When was the last time you listened to a podcast? Share the khair. This is very important. But so many of us, we just waste time talking about football, politics, and in the end, we can't even make any change that way. Don't be involved in gossips. This is very important. And finally, strive for Jannah. Strive together towards Allah. Strive together to be in Jannah together. You want to see your brother in Jannah. You don't want to see him in the fire, right? Let's remind ourselves about the abud of the hereafter. Let's tell ourselves the bitter truth. If we are doing the wrong thing, let's correct ourselves in a beautiful manner, in a respectful way. You don't have to condemn. You don't have to criticize. But see that you admonish with wisdom and beautiful preaching, right? May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us all good endings. Be a good companion. Just like the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us that the similitude of a good companion and a bad companion. He said the good companion is like a mosque seller. If he doesn't give you the perfume, you'll have a good aroma from you mingling with him. And the bad companion is like a blacksmith. If you don't get burnt or smell smoky from the charcoal in his furnace, your being together with him will still affect you. So this is important, to see that we have good companions and we encourage each other to be good. Encourage each other with good vibes, good habits, good behaviors. Inspire and motivate each other towards attaining your personal and collective goals. This is very important. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make it easy for us. I have to be honest with my listeners, those of you who are listening, to know that these are just 2 cents or a few things which I thoughts and put together to share on building positive relationship. However, like I often say, it's not as easy as ABC, but it's also not rocket science, but it requires sincerity of action, ongoing efforts, little tiny habits, right? Genuine care and the willingness to invest in the well-being of yourself and others as well. By practicing these principles, inshallah, we can continue to create a supportive and uplifting society or an environment which thrives for everyone. Until next time, inshallah, keep striving to be the best of you. And I say unto you, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May the peace and blessings of Allah be upon you all.